Alrighty, this is the first Battle Cup review that I promised to start doing earlier. So basically, the idea is I'm watching the Battle Cup game we just played and going over what I think are some improvements or areas of concern, some mechanical things that maybe people don't know about or I don't know about, and mostly to learn for next week's Battle Cup. A lot of it's to just help me as a captain figuring out, what my players know how to do, or how I can sort of control the way the game's going during the Battle Cup when some of these mistakes are being made, if there's something that being corrected. Obviously, it's not to poke anyone in the eye when we're doing when I go through the player perspective part. I'm going to try and refer to the heroes without the individual players, and obviously any reflection on or any critique of the hero is not a reflection on the player. It's just me pointing out what I think might have been better. And of course, you don't have to take my word for it. I'm probably worse than most of the people I play with, but it's just what I think could have been done differently. That hopefully you learn something from for future games. All right, so we'll start with the draft. Let's see. We ended up banning Doom and Underlord first. Let's go ahead and speed this up. It's going to take forever. And I remember checking the Dodo buff. We're running Overwolf as always. The guy spams Doom, Axe, and Underlord for the enemy team's off lane. We thought about stealing the Axe and comboing with Veno. That was a pre-canned strat that we were fond of. And so took out Doom and Underlord, left the Axe hoping that we were going to be able to pick it second. Excuse me, which we did. Or actually, I thought about picking it first, but the team thought, well, maybe we'll wait a little later. I didn't want to pick it second round, so we ended up just picking it second, but still within the first round, which worked out just fine. They take Jakiro, fine, nice, safe support, nothing special. We take the Veno first to not show the Axe early, risking losing the Axe ourselves, but they take Tiny. I thought for sure the Tiny was going to be a support, and then later I changed my mind during the draft, but in the game it ended up being a support. So we take the Axe, we have the off lane combo that we want, we're really happy with. And I see that the enemy has the Abaddon, and I'm planning on taking the Abaddon next. But I ended up changing my mind here early and not denied picking it. So we take out Arc Warden, Spec, and Animage because those are the enemy carry signature heroes. And by taking out those three, we thought we were forcing him onto his Jug. So we have first pick next round, and I think I took the Clock here. Clock is good against both Jakiro and Tiny. Clock is excellent against Jakiro, and still strong as the Tiny. It was a greedy position 5, but I think that with the bottom lane being so aggressive, if we force the top lane as well, we either force a tri lane or the mid laner to rotate more and earlier than he wants to. So I take the Clock, and see, I'm pretty sure, I take the Clock here, and then they take the Abaddon. I was a little disappointed I didn't deny pick it, but still, I thought the lane was going to go a little worse than it ended up going the Abaddon. Tiny lane was terrible, so this was fine for us. We take the Troll. I wanted a Diffusal Carrier. The team suggested Life Stealer, which I thought was a little weaker. Troll I thought was better against these three. The carry player agreed, so we gave him that. He was more comfortable. And they take the Sven here. And the spin wasn't terrible. Gives them a way to get out of the clockwork cogs, but I'm not really sure what else they were thinking about here. The Veno had canceled Blink Daggers, so I wasn't too concerned. Sven seemed like something we could handle. We ended up banning, what did we ban here? I think we took out Invoker, which the team suggested I didn't think was worth banning. And then they banned OD, which sort of makes me feel like the Invoker ban was wasted. We debated taking out Lone Druid and Monkey King. I didn't see any Lone Druid stats for the guy. Did see Monkey King stats. He takes Storm Spirit, which was a problem, but Axe, Troll, and then the Void Spirit we ended up picking all have form of control for the Storm Spirit, and then Veno ended up going an Orchid in the game. So we had 4 ways to control Storm Spirit, as long as everyone on the team was, close enough to the fight and close enough to each other that Storm wouldn't pick off people individually. And in the game, you'll see that that didn't go well because the Storm sort of thrived on picking people out of position. And although we had, plenty of great team fight if we could catch the Storm near 2 other players, but that didn't really happen. So we'll go into the game. We'll do this from player perspective. So I'll start from the bottom. We'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll watch the clock, and then basically restart the replay from there. So I'll timestamp this. So if you're interested in your part, you can skip to it. But hopefully you find the time to watch the entire video because it's pretty valuable to see how everybody else also played the game while you were playing your role, and to see that, if you're in one of those other roles later, if I change the positions, you'll have a good idea of what mistakes they made. Alright, so we're feeling good. I ended up warning the team about watching for a tri-lane because I thought that with the very aggressive lanes we picked up, they might just sack a lane and put both of their supports on one side or the other. Let's see what the starting items are. 2 sets of tangos, give 1 to the mid laner, 1 of each ward, a salve, and then 3 mangoes, I think. Yep. So, very aggressive starting items. I thought that I needed this much regen, and then the mangoes were to keep throwing out the spells to try and harass. Yeah. The ward for this lane was because I didn't think the off lane was going to be trying to courier snipe. I thought the Veno axe was going to be staying pretty close to the lane for a lot of it, and using Battle Hunger and the poison slows to actually contest the hits as opposed to axe creep cutting. So I took one of the observers. That's right, we had a disconnect here. Skip ahead a little bit. Skip ahead. Okay, let's see what our teammates' items are. 2 tangos, quelling bait, and stats. That sounds good. Alright. Don't really care what everyone else's items are now. Clock. Okay, is he coming back? Oh, he's back. Alright. So mid is going out to put his ward, which is good. I don't have to place the mid ward. I place mine over here by the lane, which ended up working out well because let me see the tiny ward and deward it immediately. He tried to block the hard camp as opposed to the small camp. I'm actually not sure why he did that. I didn't want to block the hard camp because I figured we were going to win the lane, ideally, and then I would be using it to pull kind of up in this, this top into the left direction. See both, kick battery assault, go to fight for the rune. This is all pretty normal. Ended up stealing the rune here, out clicking them, that's good. Continue to do damage, and got a good bit of damage on these guys. Look like a couple of those battery assaults missed in vision. That may just be a replay bug. Go down here, I want to check the other rune. I'm sure it's gone, but there's no reason to not take a look. Check Tiny's item. I see the observer ward. Basically, as I go back to my side, watch to see if the Tiny's going to plant. And I thought he was going to plant right here, but I ended up interrupting. So if I'd waited a little bit, maybe he would have actually used it to block the small camp, but it's not a big deal. Throw another back shot. That was a mistake right there. Let's go back and watch that again. That was a huge mistake. Okay, so I'm hitting the Tiny here. That's good. He throws a stun. I ended up casting the battery assault and start chasing. When I looked at the Tiny's items the first time, I didn't notice that he had the brown boots. I was paying attention for the ward, and so in my mind it didn't click. He's got brown boots. So right here, when I go for a right click instead of chasing, right click, and I'm out of range of the battery assault. So now I just wasted the next 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is probably a little too slow. 4. I could chase him down further. Is there another one? 5. Okay, that's a shame. 6. Wow. A lot. Okay, so basically the plan is... Did I recast there? I did. So, because I stopped and tried to right-click the Tiny instead of just walked behind him, because the Tiny has brown boots at this point, he got boots first item, I ended up falling out of range and missed a lot of damage. 6 procs on this, that's 120 damage, that's huge. Costly mistake there, so just a note for people playing Clock or want to play Clock as a support. Alright, back here, the lane goes... Oh, okay, creeps past each other. I did see the Tiny come out this way because of my observer, so I just guess, throw down the sentry, kill the observer, that's good. So unblock that camp, especially right before the 1 minute mark. The Tiny doesn't block it with his body, so it was 1 minute here. He could have stood in that camp, but probably thought I was going to battery assault him again, so he didn't. The creep wave is now way too far, so I'm going to pull. I tell my teammate pulling, pull out. Troll is doing just fine. The Tiny at this point doesn't have enough mana to throw another avalanche, so he's fine. Because it's Vols, I got lucky on the Vols. They'll wipe out this entire creep wave. Deny the range creep, and then these guys are going to start hitting these creeps and basically wipe out an entire wave. Troll will get the next lane back under his tower here if things go right. So yeah, the wave pushes into the tower. I'm over here, last hitting denying. Tiny comes over, I think, to see what's going wrong. Yep, he does. And I end up missing one of these creeps. I'm not sure why, but these split. And then this one goes up. I thought this tree had to be cut, so that creep goes into the tree. This one skips. I'm not really sure why I screwed that up and missed it, but I'll figure that out later. Either way, excellent lane equilibrium now. This is exactly where Troll wants it. This guy starts to TP bottom, which is interesting, so I interrupt that. The Cogs is probably a waste. I probably could have just hit him with Battery Assault and chased and saved a little bit of mana. But at this point, the Tiny's completely bullied out of lane. I think he goes back to Fountain here. Because I ended up, yeah, we just go 2v1 for a little bit. The Tiny completely leaves. And I've sort of stuck around in this lane for a little bit, don't really know what to do. So I'm going to go harass the Abaddon here in a bit, I think. Which is good. Yeah, there we go. Pop the mangoes, get some harass. Don't think this one ends up being a kill. Okay, good. Right clicks, try and body block him so the next one hits the cog. Yep, that's really good. Good harass. Chase them all the way down. Back up before the creeps come. They start to follow me, so I have to walk back to the lane. Make sure they go here. Okay, that's a mistake. Well, that's actually a mistake for the Troll. Yeah, we'll do that from the Troll perspective. But basically, the Abaddon here pops a salve and ends up standing in this area long enough to get the entire salve off. And I tell Troll this because, of course, I'm level 2. I don't have a flare yet, so I can't cancel his salve. But Troll can swap into from melee into range and then just deny his salve. And so I tell him, and he ends up trying, but as you'll see here in a second, he ends up basically just clipping the end of it. And so Abaddon gets the entire salve off, or almost the entire salve off, and he just barely cancels the last little bit of it. We'll go over that again in the Abaddon replay. But that's fine for me. I'm just hanging around, trying not to stand too close to creep waves unless Abaddon comes up. He walks up, I invade, I walk away. Abaddon comes back up, I go back towards him, and basically I'm just trying to keep Abaddon away from last hitting and denying anything. That was a mistake there. I should have walked back, but I was ending up trying to go for the deny there. Abaddon is too far forward. This is a good opportunity. I think we get the kill here. Yep, pop the mangoes and we get a kill. Meanwhile, Tiny is elsewhere. I'm sure I called it over voice, but this is a good kill for us, even though I'm sort of reaching a little bit from the Troll. So I should leave here. I think I go to stack. That'd be really good timing if I do. Yes. Alright, so first stack of the game is P5. Do I pull? Tiny is still missing. Okay, so Tiny chased Benno out of lane. That's a shame, but that's probably still working out great for us. I think at this point, we'll have CS up. That's a mistake. So I walked down for no reason, missed this, and I remember this. I don't get the pull here. That was a huge mistake. So I ended up walking around and basically just goofing off here in this area. I'm checking bottom lane, walk over here. Not sure what's going on. Thought I was coming back to this lane, then went up. So that 5 seconds cost me this pull, and that's why Troll's lane is way far forward, and that's a huge mistake on my part. Oh, that's right, the mid player disconnected again. Okay, let's skip forward a bit. Wow! I think this is a longer disconnect. It's good etiquette from the other team not to unpause on us. So nice of them to give us a fair chance. So I missed that stack, and looks like 30 seconds to bounty rooms, go contest. There's too much time here, and Troll is getting pressured, so I need to go back over. Can't sit there and wait full time. Troll is got a good level advantage, but I need to be here in this fight. I'm out of mangoes, so I don't have a... That was a mistake. I walked too far away, and I missed a couple battery assaults. I didn't have enough mangoes for a cogs, and I think I was trying to protect the rune and try and make sure I stayed on the right-hand side so that if we raced, I could beat him to the bounties. get mine, but unfortunately Void went for his. This is a huge mistake here, so he has a double damage rune. He's already chased the Void Spirit away. Void Spirit went in to dive at his bounty rune. I decide to come down here because I think we can either A, turn it, or I can save the Void Spirit. But I end up just screwing this up and feeding to the Storm because he's got the double damage. So that's something I need to pay attention to. The Void Spirit was having trouble with his comm, so he just disconnected. He was off the voice channel, so he wasn't able to warn us and say double damage on the Storm. And I didn't look. I saw the glow, but out of the corner of my eye, I thought that was like the bottle or something. So I didn't even realize he has a double damage up until about this point. And then, of course, I'm here realizing how under leveled I am to try and withstand the double damage. And does he take both of them? He takes us both. So that is a huge screw up on the clock's part. I don't know if maybe I had saved the Void Spirit if things had gone differently. Maybe me showing up and dying could have kept the Void Spirit alive, and that was, the path of my general idea. But it may have worked out better to just leave him at that point and stay in the lane. Popped a battery assault, but that's not a big deal because I was coming from the fountain, so I had enough mana regen. I'm basically back up to full here. Tiny's still missing, so I'm floating. This is a triple stack, which is good, but I'm still now kind of purposeless while the lane is too far forward. Tell my guys that that's a triple stack, even though the troll's not going to be able to do anything about it for a while. And go back and harass some more. This is okay. This looks good so far. Good, or lucky net on the Tiny that enables that kill. And then here I think I should probably try and pull this up and to the left because there's a creep wave coming. I think I'm going to try. There we go. This works out. That's a good pull. But there's one creep in the way. Yeah, that's a shame. So maybe if Troll had body blocked that creep earlier, that might have connected, but either way, this is going to push in, so it'll kill it next time. I should quad stack this. Yeah, looks like I'm going to try. Yep, too late to pull the small camp. So I either quad stack or I connect it. I think I'm going to connect it. I'm going to try. Should end up in a stack either way, but hopefully it connects. Okay, so I got 3 out of 4. That's not bad. It's really good. Stay here. I was expecting Troll to go farm some of these last hits while I deny, but it ended up working out just fine anyway. And then pulling all these creeps back up, I try and sort of stagger my movements to keep them from hitting the tower. And at this point, I'm concerned that the Abaddon is farming this camp. So I go back down. I waste a tango that I didn't need to just to get through, and he was looking at it. He couldn't have farmed it himself, but it just put him out of position, so there should be a kill there. Yeah, he's very dead. So that's good, but again, now Tiny has been roaming, and I've been securing Troll's lane. What are our levels here? Troll is 6, Abaddon's 5, that's not terrible. Connected that pull, that's alright. Wasn't really necessary. Tiny is 3, that's pretty bad for 8 minutes in. Has he gotten kills while roaming? He's gotten 1 assist, so no, not really. So I think we're still doing good. Alright, the clock is where? The clock is walking all the way back. No mana. Didn't figure out any clarities, that's a mistake. So walking back like this is a waste of time. Should have figured out some clarities. Definitely had the gold for it. Basically, I'm watching here. I think I'm just backseat captaining as I walk home, trying to get a gank organized. I get an observer ward and go in bot. That's fine. Troll is jungling. The lane is 1v1 here. I think he should actually be contesting with the Abaddon a bit more. Throw a flare to try and push that lane. Hopefully that goes into the tower and at least kills that wave off, and maybe Troll can go back to his lane. But I think Troll starts jungling here. That's bad. So the Axe starts his TP out in the middle of nowhere. We can't save him, we're too far. So that's really bad for the Axe. Now his TP's on cooldown, he dies. And I basically get just a tiny bit of damage. Someone rotates down. Who's that? Purple? So we got the... Who's that? We got the Storm Spirit? No. We got the Tiny to rotate bottom, which isn't much value there. I think this was a mistake. I'm trying to harass him, but there's no one near me, so I am definitely too far out. I mean, this is optimistic harassment, but once the Sven comes in, this is a mistake. The Void Spirit does end up cleaning the support, but you know that's just good for me that he ended up coming to save me as opposed to me not playing right. Still not popping my salve. Oh, I thought Void Spirit was going to take these runes because Void Spirit had a bottle, but Void Spirit goes back with an empty bottle, which is a shame. But I guess he didn't want to miss a wave. So wave versus 6 bottle fills or 6 bottle drinks. Not sure if that's worth it. Mango tree just sitting in the jungle. Don't know why whoever the person that farmed that was didn't pick it up, but okay. I'll take it back to base, plant it. At this point I'm telling the Jug to go help the Axe, but the Axe didn't need it for that kill. Ends up losing his life to the Storm Spirit, but see how that fight's going. Okay, so he ults and then gets kited back but runs away. That's fine. Oh, I got 2 clarities now. That's a little smarter. I got the Observer wards. TP right in. Trying to force another rotation back if the other folks aren't in the area. That was a very optimistic sort of power cogs. Good bit of damage though. Tiny's extremely low. Missed the hook shot on the Tiny, hit the Abaddon instead. That was a mistake. That was unfortunate. If I got the Tiny, I probably would have done enough damage to either kill him or force him all the way home. Obviously with the troll right clicks doing most of the damage, not my actually hooks. Because once the Abaddon throws the shield, I'm basically counting on the troll to hit him. Void Spirit comes in for a gank. This is good, so I start rolling back in. Void Spirit just TP'd, looking for a kill, trying to bait the Jakiro while Void's behind the trees. Okay, Troll starts jungling. That's a mistake here. I'm basically dying and running away while Void Spirit is diving by himself. We'll touch on that play later in other perspectives. But at this point, I'm very low. Just pop my salve. There you go. Finally pop the salve. Give 1 clarity to the mid. I probably don't need to use my clarity. Just go roaming again. Look for another kill with the hook shot that's now off cooldown. That's a shame. I throw the ward up and they definitely spot that, and I basically suicide here chasing in. This was an extremely bad play. I thought I would get the Jakiro, miss the cogs, and then basically feed to the rest of their team deep in the jungle here. So as they say, space created, but that was a screw up. Once I missed the actually I'm not even missing the cogs on the Jakiro. I shouldn't have even gone up the hill once I saw the Jakiro behind the Abaddon. Harassing one or the other is fine, but when there's 2 in the jungle like that, should have just bailed, let Troll free farm. Which he is doing. Someone else is taking over his lane because Venom is in the lane while Troll is in the jungle. That's a shame. What am I doing? Clockwork. He's looking around. Trying to decide where to fire a flare, I think. Venom does die in front of the tower, but that was pretty far pushed in. And now I'm looking for another gank. I'm trying to gank everyone but Storm Spirit, so there's. I don't think that I've got enough with the Void Spirit to kill Storm at this point, so I'm trying to hit either of the side lanes and basically let the Storm Spirit try and react after our gank. That's interesting. So I see one person, I see another person. It's slowed a little bit, and this is way too deep. I should have popped the cogs early. I would have prevented the Sven from getting in. Popped the cogs late, and that was a feed. Didn't even get the wards down. I think the reason I was going into that jungle originally was to try and get a ward either on this tower here or maybe one of these 2 further ones. But by not popping the cogs early, that was a screw up. I should have cogs as soon as I saw the Sven come up to stun. That would have probably saved me. I could have gotten out. No, actually, well, depends on if I got the hook shot angle to hit a neutral creep camp. Because basically the idea is cogs here, and then try and hook shot into a creep camp to escape. It's not an ideal use of hook, but cooldown so low would have been fine. Alright, what am I doing? I'm looking around as I walk to mid. I was checking the range there with the hook shot. I was out of range, couldn't get him. I still decided to go in for it. And now here, I tried to cogs back, so that's a little hard to see sometimes. But basically here I was checking by alt-clicking my key. I was checking to see if I had the range for a hook shot. I didn't back when the initial fight started. Let's actually roll that back a smidge. So I see this. Storm is coming up to the river. Void Spirit has a double damage, and I thought we were going to fight right here. So as I'm doing this, I'm watching my range. And I've got alt-click down. You can see this green line here that shows my hook shot range. I'm watching this to see if I can get the hook shot in, and I couldn't. So I just keep running up anyway, watching the Void Spirit get away. At this point, I throw the flare because I realize I'm not going to get the hook shot in time, and continue to run in. Who's down bottom? That's the Troll, okay. So Troll is here. I feel with Troll and Void Spirit turns around, so I go for the hook shot. I think this is going to be a good hook. Aim it, fire, perfect. Now the plan is to cast Battery Assault and then walk forward, cast Cogs from here, and the Cogs push the Void Spirit, or the Storm Spirit towards Void Spirit, and it acts as a stun. Whereas by casting the Battery Assault here and then cogsing him inside, he's basically just going to try and zip across and go out the far end. So the Void Spirit was unable to participate because I screwed up and didn't push him back with the cogs. So that was a mistake. And at this point we're committed and we're way too deep. Troll ends up casting his ult, and everybody else shows up to help. This was a very unfortunate fight that went poorly because I mistimed my cogs. Alright. So Axe comes into the fight, a little on the later side. Of course, everyone's dead. And it looks like we're starting to chain feed a bit. Fast forward here, I'm on the clockwork perspective. So let's throw out a flare, start to TP behind the tower. That's good. I'm going to have a hook shot in a few seconds. And looks like the fight's over unless I do something weird. Yeah, I just deny the tier 1. Alright, what do we do from here? We've got a Clarity, a couple of wards to throw down. Need to get some vision. This area is dark. That's a mistake that I don't have any vision. I've been not buying enough wards. Can I see the shop? Yeah, I need to be buying more wards as a position 5. So that's a pretty bad, or a pretty greedy approach that worked out poorly here. I decided to put the Observer on the same post anyway. Double damage. I'm watching the double damage as I'm calling in the rest of the team. I end up just going for it anyway because I thought the Abaddon was going to get there. He waves off, so Void Spirit was able to get the double damage rune. That's good. But again, now I'm doing nothing. I'm sitting in a creep wave that I should be letting the mid farm, and I need to go make space or go get vision. One or the other. Either start a gank or get vision. Maybe stack if I'm desperate and there's nothing going on, but really I need to be more active here. Why did I turn around and just walk back? That was a waste. I could have put that sentry there. That would have actually been a perfect spot in this dark area right here by the jungle camps. I should have sentryed that while I'm holding it. Another mistake. Alright, I bought 4 wards and a smoke. That's good. I need to make some space. Oh, I see the Jakiro. We're going for it. It's a pretty straightforward one. Not a lot of people needed. Veno comes in to help, which is fine. Void Spirit comes up. Not necessary. We've already got it. Storm Spirit dies somewhere else to the Axe. That's good. Axe ended up solo killing the Storm. That worked out nicely. Wasn't even paying attention to that. And at this point, I'm jungling a camp on the side of the tier 1. We're expecting a defensive rotation here, so I'm waiting for someone to show up on the side. I think I'm calling Axe to show up and get ready for a blink in at this point, because I thought he was a little far in the jungle. Get my fresh wards, so go start throwing down random vision everywhere. I do like doing that double ward thing. I gotta stop. Alright, at this point, we start to call for this, and Veno initiates early, throwing down a ward and a Gale, which is fine, it worked out, but ideally we could have just done that with the Axe call and then saved the Venomous Gale for later. I think we all back out here and we're okay. Macropyre is wasted to little effect. I need to pop a Clarity, running around, letting the mana just there. Not using my Flare, that's a mistake. End up dying here, I'm sure. That is a shame. So I need to pop the Flare more often. I'm just sitting here holding it. Even if you're not using it to push a creep wave, I should have just thrown it somewhere up here on this high ground to try and get some vision in the dark area. So that was a big mistake. I need to learn to throw more flares. Just for vision, if nothing else. Alright, what am I going to do next? Pick up mangoes. Like that. Throw the flare for more vision. That's good. Did it that time. Starting my TP. I'm still far at the tier 1. Probably checking my hookshot range. Yep, hookshot is just out of range. You see it, and go for a double here. I think I do. Which is fine. I didn't use the cogs because of the axe call, which is okay, but I ended up not using them to split the tiny back. So that was unfortunate, but if this becomes a 3-for-1 clock for all 3 of those, that's really good. That's a perfect example of how the Storm Spirit ends up getting into trouble with multiple disables. Storm Spirit in this game doesn't buy BKB, doesn't buy Euls, goes real greedy, tries to get damage items like an Orchid and a Bloodstone, and has no, sort of defensive item of his own. He's counting on his team to help him. And so while we're playing together, our multiple disables are destroying him. And unfortunately, that falls off later in the game. Alright, I buy the book. Under level, I imagine. Let's see what my level is. 9, yep. 2 levels behind position 4 Veno, that's fine. I've been roaming a lot. Not getting any farm, really. What's the net worth look like? Really bad. Losing to Jakiro and Tiny, but that's fine. I feel like I'm having more of an impact than the Jakiro is, so I think my roaming is okay at this point. That flare was just to push and maybe get a last hit. Probably should have used that flare for vision. There's a flare coming off cooldown right now, and I don't use it. Still not using it. Still not using it. Still, this is a huge mistake. I should have flared twice by now. Throw it again to push as opposed to vision. I should have used it for vision to help the team out. Abaddon's here, so I actually walked down the stairs, and I think he catches vision of me doing that, and that was a mistake. Should have stood at the top of the stairs and let him walk up to me, and if he turned off then, I would have known he had a ward, or I could have caught him in a Cog's trap and maybe procced his ult for nothing. So that was a mistake. Otherwise, we're hanging around, a bunch of people are jungling. Got a good 4K lead, but a lot of folks are jungling. Probably talking about a Roche timing right now. I'm wondering when Troll is going to do that. Troll did get the Battle Fury. We'll talk about that later. Throw the wards down. We have 2 of the tier 1s out, so now we need to go for top. I call everybody up, but the enemy team sees the rotation, and actually someone on my team called that the enemy team saw the rotation. So this is basically wasted time. We all group up here. I try to get everybody to come back for a smoke so we can go around. And this smoke, I think, is disastrous. Let's see how this works out. Pop the smoke, we go down, trying to get everybody to wrap around. They wrap up around. Veno is up here by himself, whereas the rest of us are down in the river. So I say let's go in. I split the Tiny back, expecting everyone to jump the Tiny. Axe, I don't think Axe blinked there. I think Axe just walked up. So the Veno is split, that's why the Storm Spirit can kill him off solo. I try to help and basically do nothing valuable. So that was a very poor initiation on my part by going in for the Tiny and then forcing him back. I couldn't kill the Tiny myself, and so I tried to get him to push into the team, and then I imagined that the rest of my job was going to be running forward, but once I saw the Storm Spirit dive the Veno, I then tried to go save the Veno, which was dumb, because the Veno was dead anyway, and I wasn't going to kill the Storm Spirit myself because the cores with the important disables are elsewhere. So this fight ends up poorly. That's alright, I TP in to help, I'm sure. There we go. No hook shot, so I gotta run in manually. Cutting across. Yep, tried to use the tree so if I was gonna die, he didn't. Missed the blind hook on the Jack. Thought thought the Jack was still in the trees, could get flare. Someone tells me he's still there, so then I go exploring, and there he is. And that's a good kill on the Jack. That's nice. Goes to the mid, that's important. And what do we do from here? Alright, I got a flare, kick it for vision. Flare, flare, no flare. This is a huge mistake. I've been holding this flare for hours. That by itself is a huge screw up. Yeah, I could have kicked this flare for vision to see if anyone's coming up behind us. I'm probably too busy trying to micromanage the team and call stuff. Finally kick a flare for vision, that's good. I think that they dewarded this because I thought I had a ward here earlier, so I tell the team that's probably warded as I call in for more vision, but that may be wrong. Actually, I see both teams, right? So, both teams, but no, I don't see theirs. Yeah, I do see their wards, so they don't have one there. And at this point, we're all just kind of floating around. This is a waste of time. We're all kind of grouped up here. They're not going to jump out. Tiny's probably looking for a toss back, and our Axe isn't going to go in by himself, so we just need to split up and farm again. Alright, where are we going? We're on a good objective. I see this illusions. And they start to push in here, and you saw that, right? All both teams okay now. We didn't see that. No, wait, player perspective, yeah, no, this is our vision. So I am checking to see which runes they took. They took the bottom rune, so I assume that the top bounty rune is taken. And so we go for the ones on our side of the map. At this point, I'm wasting a lot of time. I'm just running across, doing a whole lot of nothing, not kicking my flares as fast as I should be. Basically waiting to see if someone invades in to try and pick off one of our guys, which, considering they have a Storm Spirit and a Tiny, isn't the worst idea. I'm basically just playing bodyguard for my cores while they jungle. Unfortunately, I should be doing something a little more aggressive, I think. Still holding this flare. I need to be throwing the flare into the jungle to get vision of various camps all the time. I should put it on the camp to make the enemy team think that I've actually got a ward there and I'm contesting the last hits. Because otherwise, I'm just wasting my time running around. Also never looking at my own hero, which is probably good, but... Grouped up here. Okay, this is really bad. We're all just standing here, waiting. I think Axe is talking about blinking on someone, which is fine. That works out well. I don't need to hook shot into that one, so I'm looking for someone on the side. Oh, right here, yep. Okay, so this fight starts out really well. So Axe sees somebody because I placed this ward earlier. Axe decides he's going to call. We're all kind of hanging around waiting for the Axe to go for it. And that works out perfectly. So I don't use my hook shot. I don't use any of the other big spells. I throw the flare, which is fine, just a little bit of damage to help. I actually should have thrown the flare further to get vision of other people. And then I'm looking for a second person. I see the second person, throw the hook shot. I hit my teammate Axe here, and we still go in. This is a huge mistake, so I should have called back. Once I miss the hook shot on Sven, the rest of the team is basically reinforcing it. So they're going to be coming to help their Sven out in a second now. Because, of course, the Sven's the carry. So I go over here trying to deward this. I thought I was telling the team to get back, but I'm not sure. And we basically lose a huge fight here because we dive and chase. And not everybody is prepared and pay attention and ready and sort of going in at the same time. I went over here to ward. The team went in by themselves, or started by themselves. I go in late, so I die. The troll is up here doing his thing, farming and pushing. And overall, the fight is terrible. Probably could have used cogs there just to kite out a little bit more damage. But overall, as soon as I miss that hook shot and I hit the back of the Axe instead of getting the Sven, that fight needs to be aborted. If I had got the Sven, that would have been a fantastic catch, and everything would have gone very differently. But as played, you know, throwing the ward down and going over here to deward that was probably just fine. But I then followed my team onto the low ground area, trying to go for the guys that were attacking the Axe, mostly to just try and help save the Axe, even though he was completely dead at that point. I should have left him. Alright, so I'm looking around, doing a whole lot of nothing. Kick a flare coming in from the side. What are we going to do here? I'm looking for a hook shot on the side. There's someone that's leaving. Axe is respawning now. This is good. Put a ward up behind in case they retreat out in this direction. So really I need to find a hook shot. And instead they go top and they solo kill, or they kill the troll. Okay, so that's bad. Now I'm just waiting. What am I doing? I need to go get something. They're not coming up this way. We have vision here and here, so I could see. I could probably have killed that camp right there and farmed it for free while still flaring vision out here. No reason to show up to this lane. Void Spirit just went to take that farm, so I just wasted my time walking out there. Need to go back this way. Really should have hit that camp and that camp while everything was going on. Axe is still looking for a blink call. He's spotted by those creeps, so now this call is no good. I go top to defend. Top is probably dead here. We have no vision. They might have vision on this tower. I should deward it as I come up. I do. No vision here. And do we still go for it with the Axe? I think Axe wants to take the storm, yep. So he gets the storm. The problem is the rest of the team isn't here. I get a hook to try and double the stun duration, but without another disable, the storm is getting away. We're doing nothing. Terrible fight. This. I probably should have tried to go in at the same time as the Axe on the rest of the heroes down by the tower. Let's watch that fight again. Let's get back a little bit. So here we are. Axe is looking. He wants to call the storm. I think he's talking about blink calling the storm. At that point, when he does that, I should go up here, and rather than hook into the back of the storm and then just gum up this area with cogs that people don't want to fight into, I probably should have gone the Sven. Because right now I hit the storm and I thought, oh well, I'm doubling the stun duration on the storm to give the team more time to kill. But the team isn't here. I need to have hooked and basically cogs in that Sven. If I had kept the Sven out of a fight, this entire engagement would have gone better. I could have hooked the Sven back up here, he would have been stuck under the towers, and then basically Void Spirit could have hit him outside while he wastes his ult and his BKB. So that was a huge mistake on my part. Picked the wrong target to hook into, and didn't keep the Sven out. I even talked about that in the draft. When the Sven is going to be in the fights, I'm going to want to split him off from everybody else. And basically taking the Sven out makes the rest of the game 4v4, but of course they're missing their carry, while we'll be missing their position 5. So I even knew that that was my job in team fights, I just didn't execute it right that time. Alright, let's see what happens next. Clock. Probably gonna have to pause the video just to make sure that the recorder doesn't crash in between player perspectives. It's taking a long time. And at this point I think we kind of lost. So I'm discussing how we're going to re-engage when everyone comes back up. Troll doesn't have his BKB yet, and he's still like, I think 1,000 gold short or something. We're talking about whether or not the troll has time to farm up the BKB, and he definitely doesn't. So, you know, we need to take this last fight. We're losing all of our racks. I'm discussing how we're going to engage. Axe goes in early. I'm not ready. I don't think most of the rest of the team was ready. And we just get wiped again and lose here. So I think this is basically the end of the game. Yeah, we can call that as over. Nothing else. At some point I gotta call it, right? Yeah, I don't know why I waited so long, but ended up finally calling it and saying GG. Alright, good stuff. Let's go ahead and pause here, and then we'll start a fresh video for the second player perspective.